Welcome to episode 7 of Let's Chat Live. Today we are talking about choosing the right camera for your conference meeting space. HuddleCamHD, as you may know, offers cameras from the smallest huddle rooms, which are just, this is just $299. It's a kind of a mobile conference camera, all the way up to 10x, 20x, and 30x USB 3.0 cameras, which are really designed for higher-end broadcast solutions. So we're going to talk about all of that in higher-end broadcast conferencing collaboration spaces. I've got quite a few right in front of me that we're going to chat about. In fact, let me just introduce you to the products we'll kind of be talking about today. As we've done in this show, episode 1, you may remember, on my telestrator layer needs to be turned on. You may remember that we talked about the HuddleCam Go. And the HuddleCam Go is a $299 USB 2.0 conference camera, and that's right here. We have our most popular selling camera at this point, the HuddleCam 3X. This is the HuddleCam 3X here. I have it turned around because we're going to be looking at the connections in just a moment. 1080p, 3X optical zoom, pan tilt zoom camera. And then today, this is the first time we've had our 10X USB 3.0 model on the show. So we showed this off. Again, we're going to be looking at the backs in just a moment. But the HuddleCam 10X, which is USB 3.0. And then just last couple episodes, we talked about our brand new USB 2.0 all-in-one camera microphone solutions available in 3 and 10x optical zoom. So we've got quite a few options. We have a question on the HuddleCam Go. Let's roll it in. What is the question?
My overlay's not working, but it says, can we use the speaker on our TV instead of the camera on the HD Go?
You certainly can use the camera on your TV instead of the HuddleCam Go. That is an interesting thought, but normally the camera needs to be connected to your computer when we're doing web conferencing. So take a look at that and see if that works for your solution. But when you're using the HuddleCam Go, it's available as your camera, your microphone, and your speaker. So usually the web conferencing software will give you options for all of those to output your video, audio, and input your microphone to the far end. So take a look at that. With one single USB connection, you've got 3 basically USB drivers to access for use. So that is up to you. Let's take a look at our layout here. I have some B-roll I'm going to show really quickly, and we're going to take you through what these look like. So this is a larger room. So we're going to take you from small huddle rooms to larger rooms. And throughout that process, explain how choosing the right camera for your conference room, how HuddleCamHD can help you with that. This is a smaller room here. You can see there's a HuddleCam 3X on the wall with an Intel NUC in the background. That's very popular. Here is the HuddlePod Air. Again, I think my telestrator's off on layer 4. You can see that this is kind of a smaller little HuddleCam kit, actually, which includes a dashboard for your meeting room so that you can have your meeting room all set as well. And Christian, just to answer your question, yes, these products are available in Holland. We have a distributor in the European Union that is called Stampede Global Presentation Products, and you can email partners@HuddleCamHD to get in contact with them. So let me just check something. Okay, now it is on. So let's go ahead and go through this again here. So here's the HuddlePod Air, and this is a kit that's available on our website for small rooms. Now, as we move into the medium-sized rooms, and this is Google SketchUp, I'm going to show you this live and go through it a little slower and answer questions along the way. But here is our HuddleCam 10X kit. This is the video collaboration kit. You can see it has a beamforming microphone array on the top there. And again, an Intel NUC powering everything, and a 10x optical zoom camera. So getting into just slightly larger cameras for the bigger rooms. And then here's a much larger room. We are still using a beamforming microphone array at the top there. We have an Intel NUC computer. And let's get into a live presentation of these rooms. So that was our B-roll. We went through that. Now I'll go ahead and walk you guys through this a little bit slower so we can answer questions. through the way. Can any or all of the cameras be used with the USB 2 Air? That's a great question, Kyle. At this point, we suggest cameras with H.264 compression to be used with the USB 2 Air because most of the USB 3.0 cameras, for example, from HuddleCam, are available in MJPEG to get the highest quality uncompressed video, but it doesn't transfer well over the wireless USB 2 Air. So look for H.264 compression when we're looking at cameras. So let's go to our desktop capture of Google SketchUp, and I want to take you guys through a couple different small, medium, and large examples of a conference room. So this is Google SketchUp, as you can see here, just an example of what it looks like, and we're going to put it on the screen by clicking the icon in the bottom. There's like on the Windows taskbar, there's a little logo that looks like a red staircase kind of at the bottom on the start menu, right there. Yep, there it is. Okay. And then at the top, there's these scenes. We're going to click the first scene. So I'm going to take you guys through 3 different rooms, and this is a standard huddle room that's 12 feet wide. So let's go ahead and zoom into this room, and we'll take them into it. So there's 3 rooms here. There's a small and a medium and a large, and we're going to take you guys through this process. So let's go to the next one here. That's the large one, just to give you guys a look at it. But here is the small room. So in small rooms, the first thing I want to show you guys is this software called Quick Launch. And what this software allows you to do is in the meeting space, first of all, lock down the Intel NUC, which is a great thing to do so that your users can't install different programs and change things, but also have the ability to have them with one click open WebEx, GoToMeeting, BlueJeans, Skype, for example, and allow them to very quickly and easily join the conference. It also has things like camera control, which we support, along with all the different applications that you may need. So yes, they do have access to all of that on a regular Windows platform, but this allows IT to manage it completely. And you have the ability to have the time and maybe the time zones that apply to your business, where your business has locations, and it's just a really easy way to go. So what we have here is a HuddleCamHD 3X wall mounted right below the display. Well, why is it below the display as opposed to above the display? And what we've found is that when people are sitting, if we zoom out just a little bit with the wheel on the mouse, you'll see that when people are sitting, they're usually about, let's say 42 inches is eye level. And that can change depending on, where you are. If you just hit the scene button, it'll go exactly back to where it was. But basically, 42 inches from the floor is usually a good mounting height. And so that's where we have this camera. If we click to the next scene, you'll see that in the back of this display, actually, it'll go right to the HuddlePod Air, which is good. We should mention this. This is at the center of the table. It's completely wireless, up to 25 feet from the display. And that gives us the ability to have a really nice speakerphone with the ability to mute, the ability to turn up and down. And this will actually take the audio from your conference call and broadcast that out into the room so everyone can hear it. But it also sends the microphone back to GoToMeeting, WebEx, or Skype totally wirelessly, from 20 to 30 feet. So it's a really great way of doing this. Now on the next scene here, it should zoom into the Intel NUC, and we'll show the back of that. I can see that Chad Lafarge is rating for the new Intel NUCs, the Hades. Those are great for gaming, doing a bunch of stuff, but for web conferencing, what we're showing here, this is the Intel NUC i5 unit, and they're on the 6th generation, maybe the 7th generation of these. And the way they're usually set up, of course, they're going to be plugged into power. Right, so we're going to have power behind the display for the television and the Intel NUC. HDMI is going to plug into the screen to provide the video conference capabilities. And then, of course, we always hardwire the network. So we'll have network. Those are our hardwired options. Now, right here, what we're going to do is we're going to have one USB 2.0 for the camera, writing on myself. And then we're going to have one, I'm going to call this a wireless dongle that goes to the HuddlePod Air wirelessly. Hopefully that makes sense. I apologize. I think it looks pretty good there. So that's the way it works. So there's no cables going over the floor. There's no cables actually have to be put into the ceiling or the wall. It's all set up there for you so that you can very easily, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the way these Intel NUCs mount to the wall behind the television, but it's just a very simple little plate that connects right there, and they slip together. It's 2 screws, 4 if you want to be really careful, but these Intel NUCs don't weigh anything practically. And if you have a nice chief mount, these television mounts actually slide back and forth 6 or 8 inches, and you can actually slide the television to the left, access the Intel NUC. If you need to, pop it off, which hopefully you never will. And it's a really simple way. And you'll see that throughout all the rooms we're looking at, small, medium, and large. The Intel NUCs are really going to be the brains behind the backbone. You'll find this on HuddleCamHD.com. This is the way we have our pre-built systems as well. So let's go to our next scene. And now we're going to talk about choosing a camera for a little bit of a larger room. This is, some people call these the bowling alley rooms because they're long and narrow. So for a long and narrow room, we probably may need to zoom in a little bit more than having to worry about, let's say, a wide angle camera. So we have selected here, this is our 10x optical zoom camera, and this kit we're going to look at is our Video Collaboration Plus kit, so our VCS Plus kit. So instead of using the HuddlePod Air on the table, although I will say that we have a brand new HuddlePod Air Duo, which could actually work well in this room, we're deciding to use a speakerphone that is the Acoustic Magic, and this is a beam-forming microphone array. So again, the installation here does not require any cables to be on the floor, none in the wall. The installation is it's really, we call this at the office the all-on-the-wall kit. The camera's on the wall, the Intel NUC that we'll look at in a second's on the wall, the microphone's on the wall, and of course the whole television's on the wall. So no ugly cables that are draping over your floor. It's really a smooth setup. Do the Intel NUCs have possible VESA mounts? Could you mount directly to the display? If so, yes, the Intel NUCs do include a VESA mount. They can mount directly to some displays. We normally suggest mounting them the way they're shown here on the wall, because they're so small, it's maybe 2 inches of depth, that it's easier to just mount the VESA plate that's included to the wall, and then just slip the second plate into it, and it fits nicely behind these thin new LCDs that are available today. But yes, for certain scenarios, you can VESA mount these Intel NUCs to televisions. So if we look at our next scene, it's again going to look at the Intel NUC. And again, very simple. I won't go through this whole thing. Power, HDMI, very simple. Network, let's put an N there. But the only main difference is, instead of going wireless, this is our USB 2. This is going to the Acoustic Magic. And then this right here is USB 3. And we mentioned a little bit about USB 3 in the pre-show. I'll just mention USB 3.0 is 10 times faster than USB 2.0. But the main difference being that USB 2.0 is a little bit easier to extend. So with USB 3.0 being 10 times faster, the video quality, you will be able to tell the difference. And since the video cable is literally just going, I don't know, 6 feet or something, we don't need any expensive USB 3.0 extensions. It's all very neatly handled on the wall. And you can even, if you want to like take it a really step further with your AV team, you can, line the cabling up and use wire ties, and you can really do a nice install with this system. So that's our recommendations for a medium-sized room. Of course, sometimes medium-sized rooms could use a 20x camera, or perhaps your medium-sized room is in between a medium and large, and you'll see that this room, now we're looking at something in the neighborhood. I'm going to say this room is 35 to 40 foot long and wide. So maybe it's a 40 by 40, maybe it's a 30 by 40. All these rooms are slightly different, but a lot of times in these scenarios, we're looking at a dual screen setup. Dual screen setups are very interesting and great because not only can you have maybe a full screen on one end, Maybe this is a return video so you can see what you look like. And then on the other side, a lot of times you see the whole team. So maybe you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you've got 5 people joining. Maybe you've got 6. Maybe you've got 25. Maybe you've got 100. But a lot of times having a dual screen in these larger spaces, it makes a lot of sense. And another popular way of video conferencing is having the presentation on one. I'll put a P for presentation. Maybe I'll change my color. A P for presentation, and then you have all of your various different conference callers on that side. So since that's such a popular setup, let's take a look at the AV setup. Now this time we're definitely going to be going for maybe a 20x, even a 30x. So the Intel NUC is set up a little bit differently here because, not really differently, but again, an i5 here, you might even want to go with an i7 here, which of course, when you're powering 2 displays, it doesn't hurt to have that extra horsepower. But the thing that we're going to think about here is that the Intel NUCs have 2 HDMI, well, 2 digital video outputs. One is HDMI, put that to display 1. The other is actually DisplayPort. So I'm going to put a little DisplayPort. We include a DisplayPort adapter to HDMI. As you know, probably all computers have or all LCDs today support HDMI. So we're going to power both of these televisions with the Intel NUC. I'm going to close that off. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll just do that is HDMI. Those are HDMI. And then I'll do a different color for the video, or for the audio and video. So here is our USB 2.0. That's going to our Acoustic Magic. And then we've got one more USB 3 here. That's going to our camera, USB 3. And that's a complete solution. Now let's not forget though, of course, that we still have Ethernet. That is highly, highly suggested to go Ethernet over Wi-Fi. We still need power for the Intel NUC, of course. And then, what am I forgetting? Power, Ethernet, that's it. So that's your setup there. So if we hit this next shot there, just another look at it. Now, let's stay here for a second because I want to show just a little talk about field of view. So what we're looking at right here is a field of view from the camera, right? So cameras have what's called a field of view. And if we can back up just a little more even, because I want to show the 2 people in the first chairs. Perfect. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that this camera is capturing at least the very first 2 people at the table. Not at least, because of course if we can capture them, we're capturing everyone else as well. So this is where field of view comes into play. These first 2 people at these tables here are the ones that sometimes, if they're too close to the camera and the camera's field of view is not wide enough, will get cut off. So what we want to do is, if we can look at this from top down, possibly, just by kind of spinning up and then using the hand tool to twist. Yep, you're getting it. This is Michael's first time using it too. You've almost got it. You're getting there. That's not bad. And then just pull us over. Just click and drag. There we go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look at this from top down, or at least slightly top down. Now what we're going to think about here is the field of view. And I want to mention that on HuddleCamHD.com, under Resources, right on the menu, you can request a free 3D drawing of your room to get yourself started. But you can see here that is basically an angle. And that is the angle that we want to think about. That's the minimum angle. So let's say that angle is 72 degrees. And I actually have in SketchUp, I'm not going to be able to show this right now, but all of the camera models and all of the fields of view that you can put into Google SketchUp yourself. Just send an email to me at paul.richards@HuddleCamHD.com and I'll email them to you. Or you can work with one of our engineers who will do a free diagram for you and set this up. But essentially, that's the field of view that is the minimum field of view. Then there's another field of view. So when you look at cameras, you'll notice that there's two main statistics. There's a wide field of view, That's the field of view at this angle. And then there's another field of view that is what is it when it's fully zoomed in. And so a lot of times at a shot like this, maybe if we can just zoom out just a little bit more, or just even pull us over a hair, there's a person at the head of the table. And this could be the head honcho. This could be the guy who is the CEO of the company. And he might be sitting right there. So from time to time, and maybe even a lot of the times, the camera is almost fully zoomed in. Oh, I didn't mean to use that. Use this one. Fully zoomed in, head and shoulder of this person right here. He's delivering a speech. It's very important, and he needs to be heard. So if that's the case, then right here, you want to look at I call it the tight field of view. So when you look at, let's say, the HuddleCam 10X, I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, the field of view, what you'll see, it might be 5 degrees to 60 degrees, something along that. And what that refers to is the 60 degrees is the wide field of view, and the tight one here is the 5 degree, which is the fully zoomed in one. Now, some of our competitors, and I won't name names, will list the horizontal field or the vertical field of view, which makes no sense. We don't do that. It's really cheating, in my opinion, because why would you care about the vertical field of view? It just makes no sense. Of course, we want to care about the horizon, not the verizon. It makes no sense, but it's kind of cheating because it makes you think that the field of view is larger than it is. But you should be able to get really accurate field of view representations from our data sheets and learn quite a bit about it. So now I want to look at the difference between USB 2.0 and USB 3.0 and the back of a couple different cameras here. And it's going to give you an example of what to think about for USB 2 versus USB 3, because if you've been watching our show, we've covered almost all of our USB 2.0 camera models, and now we're starting to look at our USB 3.0 cameras. So we thought this would be a good segue show as we go into the 10X, the 20X, and the 30X, and the larger camera models that we'll be talking about. So here we are here, and one of the things I'll mention is that we have RS-232 and RS-485 there. But we also have USB, a little higher, there we go, USB 2 versus USB 3. So the big difference here, as you can see, the connections are different, the colors are different, a lot of differences here. So with USB 3.0, we're 10 times as fast as USB 2.0. That makes a significant difference when we're talking about video quality, the latency, the speed, everything about it is faster, and that's why it costs a little bit more. But on both cameras, you'll see that there's RS-232 VSCA in and out. And on the 10X model in particular, what that's used for is potentially daisy chaining, if you'd like to, the control in one, out the other. And that's used for larger Crestron control systems, places where you need to control the cameras over, RS-232. Now I'll mention, as I just pull this up, that, let's go there, there we go. I'll mention that the IR select, just since we have it here, I'll just mention this IR select here, it has 1, 2, and 3. So the USB 3.0 model is a little easier to set up. You can, on the IR remote control, you can control up to 3 of these cameras, and that's what that select button does there. So just wanted to give you some detailed information about that. I think we have really talked pretty well about the considerations of the different camera rooms and the sizes and the types of things that you should be thinking about. So let's go to the post show. Let's roll the credits, and I will answer some questions soon.